big shot at winning this game, but they didn't in the end. And we're going to get to the other series that was going on in the arena later, but it was very similar in build-up, that the team that got ahead early didn't manage to hang on rather to their lead.
Giants had everything going well for them.
Yeah.
Yes, the first blood wasn't exactly how they wanted to start off the game, but overall it went pretty well for them. This is one of those late game team fights where we actually see Giants trying to force a play. They committed a little bit too hard. You notice that Knight is actually going to flash in to get as much damage down as possible, but thanks to a very clutch exhaust, they were able to turn that fight around. And this was a desperation play coming out from Giants.
Yes,
because
we fast-forwarded.
Yeah, we fast-forwarded just a bit, but this was something that we saw a lot from Giants where, for some reason, like, early game was just going fantastically for them. And in the late game, it just got so bad for them that they had to try and force these plays.
These last couple of fights, Knight was getting caught. There was one in the mid lane. And finally, Wunder managed to get himself back into the game. We wanted to kind of start at the beginning, but we've started at the end with the win. So Wunder had a good start to the game, 1v1 kill, and then suddenly can't get into fights for the entire mid-game. He's trying to get himself in with the Abyssal Voyage, but never finding the target and gets chunked out a lot.
Couple times he tried to go for the flank, and then things went horribly wrong. But this is where things went so right for Wunder, taking advantage of the flash that he had over the Ghost, where he repositions himself to dodge the axe, and then gets that last tongue lash. Just great outplay, bit of a disrespect. But this is a situation where, unfortunately for Splyce, they weren't in a good setup to actually force the fight, because this is an Infernal Drake. Both teams are going to want to contest it. Giants get a fantastic collapse down, and this is where Giants really start to take good control over the game. Yeah,
that was one of the situations where Wunder couldn't get in. He tried to TP, realized he would have been between 4 people. Already Olaf is coming in from the top side. You can see a very almost concerned look on Yamato's face.
I mean, he should be concerned because that wasn't a clean-cut win. They got to the win because of Giants, of course, in late game fights. It wasn't super crisp. But these steals, how can you prepare for that? First up, the Dragon Steal happens. You're like, you know what? I'm going to suck it up. Things are going to be okay. And then the Baron Steal happens. So
this was just super unfortunate. Like, the auto attack was in air. It was literally in air, but the tongue was just what got there faster. And then this steal just shouldn't have happened. Giants should have instantly turned on to Trashy, and instead they just let him walk in and steal it. There's 5 members against 1. Splyce is split up. Giants just needed to be decisive. They made the wrong decision, and that was really what cost them the game.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, that is one of those things that's going to start messing with your head, because yesterday they lost 2 games. It's similar to me to Roccat, who had a lot of games lost, and then those little things happen, or those steals, and you can't turn the game around. I hope Giants can get their head back in the game, and I feel like with Maxlore there, who will have recognized, you know what, I should have done something in this Baron situation as well, they might be able to turn it around. Or did you feel like they were on a different league than Splyce?
What I felt was that when we saw Giants go up against Unicorns yesterday, they got straight up outplayed by the Unicorns. Their draft was bad, Unicorns were executing better, whereas today, Giants were keeping up. They were making good, smart map plays, their objective setups were very good, and their individual prowess was strong. It just came down to these few setups that they didn't quite properly execute on. And if they just refine that, then I think they can tie this series up.
One thing I think the Giants exploited fairly well in this game was Splyce playing a slightly different style to what we've seen the last couple of games from them. Splyce has been playing a lot more with Sencux over on the side lane. They were playing azir in this game. Can't get to the side lane, and he looked a little lost. They were relying a lot more on Trashy to be over in the side lane, and normally he's the one bouncing between. So if Splyce adjust, maybe go back to some of their picks like the Cassidin that we've seen, maybe we'll see Splyce come out a little bit more confident in the early game too.
Well, you mentioned it there, picking up the slack. Trashy, player of the game in this one for Splyce, has been having a great split overall and has heavily contributed to Splyce's success, and of course also stole the Baron that netted them the win in the end here, so fantastic from him. That was going on here in the studio, but over in the arena, UOL played Vitality, and much the same